Hello, Mouthful family. We are so happy to bring you this very special episode. And I'm here with my boy Des. And you know how the Mouthful family gets down, right? We have a lot of laughs, a lot of heated debates, a lot of love. But one thing that's really important to us is politics, right? Because we are the generation that's going to be making decisions and leading the way. And what that means to us, especially since a lot of our viewers are from the Dallas County, is we want to bring in those that are making our policies, that are bringing us to the forefront. So today we have a very special guest, Faith Johnson, with us. Faith Johnson, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored. As I said to you all earlier, boy, I am so proud of you all and what you do. And I
Thank
think your program is just so special for all the people out there, not just the young people, but us old folks too. So that's good.
well, we do appreciate it. One thing Des and I were doing when we were going through your bio, I mean, we were just so overwhelmed. And I told Des, I said, well, I'm going to just go ahead and read the first part because the accolades that you have and how you've served in the community is just astounding. So, to let the people know, Faith Johnson served the citizens of Dallas County as district attorney from January 1st, 2017 until December 31st of 2018. And during her 2-year tenure, Ms. Johnson handled several high-profile cases, started the Expunction Expo, created several community satellite offices for family violence victims, and improved staff morale and unity in the office. Now, she also previously served as judge of the 363rd Criminal District Court for over 17 years and handled thousands
Wow.
of felony cases. Yes. Now, it doesn't stop there. She's also been an assistant DA for 7 years, partnered in a civil trial law firm over 2 years, and a member of many organizations, including the Texas Board of Criminal Justice, and also a member of the National Panhellenic Council as a member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority. So welcome, Divine Nine, Greek Love. Faith Johnson, it is so great to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you again. I'm so
Yeah.
excited to be here.
Now, we told the people a little bit about Faith, but what can you tell us about Faith?
Well, what I love to tell people is that things they don't know about me, and that is I am the youngest of 13 kids. I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. My mother and father were married for 60 years. In fact, the only thing that separated them was the death of my mother. She died in 1989 as I was about to become a judge of the 363rd. The governor had appointed me the first part of December, and she died 7 days later. And we don't know if she really got to know that I had been appointed, but that was the only thing that separated them. And of course, my dad lived till he was about 100 years old. He was about, and I say about because he was about to be 101. So he lived more than 100 years old. He served in World War II. He was a veteran of the Navy. So it was amazing that he had, I think at the time he went to the when he served in World War II, he may have had about 7 kids at the time. So you can think that, hey, my mom was left behind with 7 kids and he went off to fight on behalf of this country. And he worked so hard. My daddy was one of those men that he never had put his hand out for anything. He always taught us to work for what we get, and we worked hard. He worked hard. He worked till he was about 90 years old. So I said, watch out, Dallas County. I might just be your DA until I'm 90 years old. Because that's the kind of stock I come from. But my dad, I love telling this story about my dad because it just kind of tells you what he instilled in all of his 13 kids. And he was out of work at one time, and he loved working. I mean, sometimes he would work 3 jobs just to feed us. And he was completely out of work, and he was just going from door to door, trying to get a job, and no one would hire him. And he finally went into this one place and said to the man, the owner, hey, look, I need a job. And the guy said, look, I'm not hiring. And my dad said, but I need a job. I got at that time, because I wasn't born, I think he had maybe 8 or 9 kids at that time. And he said, look, I got 8 kids and a wife, and I just need to feed them. And the guy said, look, get out of here. I'm not hiring. If you don't get out of here, I'm going to call the police. And my daddy looked around and he saw a broom in the corner. And he went and grabbed that broom and he just started sweeping the place.
Oh, wow.
And the man came over there and said, look, didn't I tell you we're not hiring? And my daddy didn't say a mumbling word. He just kept on sweeping. And the guy said, get out of here. I'm going to call the police. And my daddy didn't move. He just kept sweeping and he just kept sweeping and he just kept sweeping. And finally, the guy threw up his hand and said, okay, man, you got a job. And so he stayed on that job for about 25 years and had other jobs in between all of that. But that's just to tell you, just kind of, you know, who my people are, who my family is. And that's the kind of thing my daddy instilled us. He didn't say go out and steal to get what you want. He said go out and work for what you want and what you need, and be honorable people with integrity and being honest. And that's kind of the stock that I come from when you look at it. So raised in Atlanta, didn't know what I was going to become or do. I just knew I love people. And in fact, my mom asked me when I was graduating from high school, we were poor, by the way, growing up. I didn't know we were poor, but we were. I couldn't tell because I love my family. My family loved everybody. We just, you know, we're just one big happy family. I think we had like at first my daddy started off with a 2-bedroom house and then he expanded it and added one more bedroom. So we had tons of kids and grandkids in that little 3-bedroom house. And so my mother was asking me, what do you want for graduation? She had saved $25 to get me whatever I wanted. And she was so excited about it, people. I mean, she was excited. She was just jumping up, baby girl, I got $25. I can get you whatever you want for graduation. And she was excited about getting that $25. And so I told my mom, I said, Mama, I want 100 friends. She said, no, baby girl, did you just hear what I said? I got $25. I can get you whatever you want. Now, bear in mind now, I used to have hand-me-down clothes. I only had about 3 outfits that I wore every day for that week. And then I washed it and, you know, wore it the next week. That's how many pieces of clothes I had per week. So my mama knew I wanted a new dress, a new pair of shoes or something. I said, no, Mama, I want 100 friends. She said, baby girl, what are you going to do with 100 friends? I said, Mama, I'm going to do this for them. And I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do this. And it was all the way back then. I had no idea what my life would shape out to be. But whatever it was, I knew it was going to be about helping people, making a difference in their lives, because that's what was in my heart. So that's kind of a little background about me. Obviously, I went through college and I did college. I did my master's in Atlanta, came to Texas, went to law school in Houston, and from there came to Dallas. And then there my career started full-fledged in Dallas County, Texas.
That is a beautiful story, the start to who Faith Johnson is. And I love that story about your dad. So I know that's always one that you can tell no matter the day or time.
Yes, I know.
So with your upbringing and then moving from Atlanta to Texas, what gave you your passion to get in the legal and, you know, political field?
Well, when I was, when I graduated from college, I had a degree in psychology. So one of my first job, real full job, you know, going through school, you know, I used to be a water girl, pour water, coffee girl, you know, during the summer and that sort of thing. But my very first job was working at a drug rehabilitation center. Okay, still going back to, hey, I want to make a difference in your life, you know. And it was so interesting. I didn't know anything about drugs. I mean, I grew up, I didn't know marijuana. I never heard of cocaine. I never heard of heroin. I never heard of any of that stuff. But all these people I was counseling, they were addicted to those things. And I was the person one of the counselors who was responsible for making a change in their life, getting them out of that whole cycle of drugs and addiction through my counseling. And one of my tasks was to, obviously when people are using drugs, they get in trouble. And so they get criminal cases. So I started going to the court, talking to the judges. And I didn't know, hey, I had on my little dress. I was a little plain looking. I didn't wear makeup back then, you guys. And I had this long hair, and I just went to the courts. And I guess the judge probably, I was dressed real plain. I didn't have a suit on or anything like that. And I just went up to the judge and said, hey, don't send that guy, don't send that woman to prison. We got a program over here. We can help them. And I got fascinated with the law, just going to court, trying to rescue people, if you want to call it that, rescue them from imprisonment and bringing them into our program. I said, God, I think that's what I want to do. And I said, God, I can do that and not get paid. I don't have to get paid. I just want to help people. So I'm going to go to law school. And that was so crazy. I'd never known of anybody thinking about going to law school and not making any money. But believe it or not, yeah, I had no desire to necessarily make money. I didn't know how I was going to pay my rent. Didn't even think about paying rent, paying car, no any of that, buying food for myself. All I knew is that I wanted to go to law school and to be able, again, help people make a difference in their lives. And that's how I ended up going to law school. And then from going to law school, I had all these different job opportunities. I started at legal services helping people. Then I became an assistant DA. And after I was an assistant DA for 5 years, Judge Vance wanted me to head up the child abuse unit, and I helped start that unit. Before we started that unit, it was so typical to give people probation for abusing and molesting kids because prosecutors didn't know how to handle those cases. They didn't know how to handle little kids. And so I helped start that unit. You never do anything by yourself. You always got a team of people helping you. But I headed up that unit. That's why I became the first African-American female felony chief. And we got that unit. I had about 3 people working under me. And where we used to give people probation, baby, we were getting life sentences in 50 years. I remember one little kid that I worked with, and she just looked up to me. She was a little bitty baby, and maybe 5 or 7 years old or something like that. And she just looked up to me, and she was just looking to me to help guide her through that. That was just such a thrill to me that we could guide those little babies through that and get them to a point so they could tell their story. We didn't tell them the story. They already knew what happened to them, but they were able to get up on that stand. Sometimes I had to give them a little pillow to sit on, to get up on that stand and tell the jury what happened to them. And that was such a thrill in my life. I remember one little baby kid that she was so impressed. And I think we got 50 years in her case. And I didn't know it, but she kept following my career all the way through being a judge and getting the appointment. And she decided to go finish college go to college, go to law school. And finally, she called me up when I was a judge at the end of my tenure as a judge. And she said, I've been following you all your life, all your career. And you may not remember me, but I was one of those little kids that you rescued, that you got justice for me. And I followed you. You were my mentor. And I went to law school. And she said, now I passed the bar, and I want you to swear me in, because it's because of you I went through all that I went through and achieved. And that was just an awesome moment for me. So that's kind of my background from being a judge. And of course, you already said several years later, I got appointed as the DA after Susan Hawk didn't finish her term, and the governor appointed me in 2017. So I've served Dallas County as your DA in 2017 and 2018.
Goodness. I mean,
that's such an amazing story.
Yes.
And the thing about me is I can relate so well because I love to help people. And it's just in my nature. So I can definitely relate to having that desire and that passion to help people. But I am curious to know, outside of politics and law, had you been able to choose any other profession, I'm curious to know what that would have been.
If I had chosen another profession?
Yes, if you could do yes, ma'am. If you could do anything else, what would it be?
You know what I really would love to be? And I would love to be a philanthropist because I'm a giver. one of the things I have this, and by the way, I'm a strong believer too. I accepted Jesus Christ in my life as Lord and Savior back in 1982. August 1st, 1982, I accepted him as our Lord and Savior. And boy, I tell you, we got this covenant with one another. And one of the things I said to the Lord, I said, Lord, I want to live on 10%. A lot of people know about the Bible about tithing, give 10% of what you make, and then you live on the 90. And I said to the Lord, he was so good to me one year. I said, God, I want to get to a point where I live on 10% and I want to give the rest, of course, after you pay your taxes and that sort of thing. So I would love to be a philanthropist. I have a lot of groups and organizations that I give to, probably about 10 or so, and I give to my church. But that's what I would love to do. If I had to do anything else, it's not necessarily a profession, but it's still giving back, and giving back to so many different really worthy programs and groups and people that need our help. So that's what I would do. And if I didn't do that, now my daddy wanted me to be a teacher, but I never thought I was smart enough to be a teacher. Teachers ought to be paid $250,000 a year. That's how important they are. Because I had
very much so.
Yeah, I had fabulous teachers. So he wanted me to be a teacher, but I never wanted to be that. And if I had to do anything else, maybe be a concert pianist. But I think just being a philanthropist would be the thing that I would love to do. Just have a trust fund where I was able to just give money out, give bless different organizations and groups. I could do that full time if I were not your Dallas County District Attorney, which I plan to be in 2022.
She said that's on period.
Yes.
Right. And we definitely appreciate that, because it gives us insight on who you are as a person, to know that you're just passionate about helping people, regardless of the position that you may be in. Even if you are not in this position, to still have that passion and that desire to help people, it says a lot about you. And coming from me being 33 years old and never really being interested in politics or having a desire to kind of research everything that's kind of going on, other than the big presidential elections and things of that nature. So for us to be able to connect with you and connect our audience to people such as yourself who have the ability to directly affect our lives, like it's truly an honor to have you here today. And we again appreciate you for joining us. And so now that we have a little bit about you as a person, let's get into the nitty gritty and why you're running for district attorney and your plans, if elected.
Yeah.
And I have high confidence in you, and hopefully that will come through for you, because I feel like you can make a big difference. So I'm curious to know. I know one of your biggest issues is the 750, the theft 750 policy.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that policy and what it entails?
Yes. And before I speak on that policy, I do want to let you know why I'm running for district attorney, Dallas County District Attorney. I'm running because Dallas County needs me. That's plain simple. Me, in that you need somebody who truly care about every single person in this county. And it doesn't matter what you look like or who you are, what part of town you're in, whether you're in North Dallas or South or East or West, whether you're Black or white or Hispanic or Asian or whatever, or whether you're rich or poor, whether you're young or old. Dallas County needs a person like me who really care. And it's not about politics. It really is about justice. It's about upholding your oath, because that's the key about being a Dallas County District Attorney. You are the chief law enforcement officer of this county, somebody who represents the people. So when bad things happen to you, then you got a DA who is your lawyer, who's going to represent you to the fullest, not somebody who decided that they want to be a criminal defense lawyer, a probation officer, a judge. They want to be able to be somebody who's encompassed all of those. The DA, and if you see my record, I work with everybody. I work well, which is so different than what's happening right now. It's just, it's so chaotic down there. And people, I mean, it's such a big fight going on between the DA and the judges and, you know, all the, I mean, I was just in a women's conference yesterday, and people from the city of Dallas say, hey, we don't even call down there because we don't know what's going on. And so, you know, we can get through. So, and even from the U.S. Attorney's Office, I talked to some high-ranking people there. They say, "Oh boy, we really want you to win because we got to take all these cases that the Dallas County DA is refusing to take, and we understand that people need help. People need to be represented, and that's what you do as the DA. We, as your DA, and all my assistants, over 200, we are prepared to represent you and to represent you to the fullest. I'm concerned about you, your family, your fortune, your future. And I don't take the position that you can steal up to $750 and I'm not going to prosecute it. That's the policy. It's against the law because the law says theft is theft. But the current DA say, oh, just go in and steal up to, as long as it's not more than $750, I'm not prosecuting that. And he put that under the label that, oh, well, that's a petty crime. Well, petty crimes build up to all kinds of crimes. So, I mean, you know, has your mama and daddy talked to you and say, hey, go ahead and steal $750? And no parent will teach their kids it's okay to steal up to $750. It's okay. So now you're going against the teaching of parents. Parents wouldn't dare tell their kids it's okay to do it. It's almost like my daddy. He said, work for what you get and have the integrity. In fact, do we really want to build thieves in our community, or do we want to build upstanding people who's willing to go and be entrepreneurs or teachers or doctors? We don't want them to be thieves. We want them to be productive citizens. So that's why that policy is so devastating, so dangerous, because it put a damper on what you become. Because I care, I said, no, that's not what I want you to do. I don't want you to be a thief. I want you to be somebody. I want you to feel like you can conquer the world, and you can conquer the world without stealing. Now, obviously, there's sometimes people go and steal, but we know how to handle that. And we have a memo program. If there's really somebody really in need and they go steal, that's a whole nother issue. But now people going in stealing all kinds of catalytic converters and stealing cars. And I mean, people not prosecuting, they're not even prosecuting you for burglary of a vehicle. I had a lady, somebody came into their house and broke in and masturbated on their master bed, and they called the police. The police finally came out and they said, hey, there's nothing we can do because the DA not prosecuted. They said, what? This guy broke into our house and masturbated on our bed. You telling me you can't do nothing? And the police said the DA is not taking cases. They don't take the burglary of a vehicle, don't take case if you steal less than 750, all kinds of stuff. So that's why it's so crazy. And guess what? Violent crime is still going up. So if the whole idea of not prosecuting petty crime so you can really get to violent crime obviously is not impacting that, because we still got violent crime. Criminals need to know that we're going to prosecute them. I don't care at what level. Not saying that we don't have compassion. We do. Don't say that we can't work out something on a case-by-case basis. We will. But criminals got to know that we're going to be smart on crime, not soft on crime. And that's what you get with Faith Johnson, your next Dallas County District Attorney.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. And with that being said, I wonder, like, what would be your plans, like, with the overturn of this policy, the theft 750 policy? We can assume that there will be an influx of the population of our already overcrowded jails. So do you have any plans to kind of circumvent prosecuting and even like jailing some of these criminals that do commit these thefts under 750?
Yeah, honestly, we had programs when I left there. We had the memo program, we had cite and release. So we still had a program where people, they're still being accountable for what they did, but we had cite and release where we cited you. You had to come back for your court dates for some of the petty stuff that was going on. So they're not in jail, So you're not overcrowding the jail with some of these lesser offenses. But see, the thing about it is, unless you know what people record are, you don't know if it's their first time or what's going on. Because see, a lot of these people who the current DA is letting go, some of these people are making a killing. I mean, you all gotta know. I mean, you read the newspaper, listen to the news broadcast. People are going in these stores sometimes 7 times a day and stealing. But if you never record that they've gone in there, you don't realize that, hey, this is not their first time. So we got to get a handle on that. So cite and release is one way of doing it. My memo program is another way of doing it. Being able to teach people what it is that they need to understand about whether it's theft or whether it's marijuana. Because we had a really strong memo program. We weren't sending people to jail. Are you kidding? Most of the people who come through the criminal justice system, a lot of their cases either get probation or get they go through a community type program where they get some kind of community service, educational service. Because one thing that some of our young people don't know is that an excessive smoking of marijuana, read the articles on it. It does something to your brain, especially for Black men between the ages of 18 to 25 or 30. So my thing is that if I really care about you, at least I ought to educate you about what the impact of some of the stuff you do. So hopefully you won't do it to that excess or not do it at all. Why? Because I care. I need you in the future. You're going to be doctoring on me. You might be representing me. I need you whole and healthy. So that's what I want to be able to produce, whole and healthy individual who's going to contribute to society. Just like everybody, you got so many other people who's contributing to society. You got a role, you got destiny. I want to help people get to that destiny. That's why I said to my mama, hey, mama, I want 100 friends because I want to be able to do this for them and that for them. And that doing this and that is not about killing you. It's about helping you. I don't want to destroy you. I don't want you to be destroyed. I want you to be productive, healthy citizen that's going to impact the world. You, young brothers and sisters, you got destiny written on you. You got a mark that you got to leave on this universe. I want to help you leave that mark. You got it in you. I want to help pull it out of you. So I don't want you to be a thief. I don't want you to be a robber. I don't want you to be a murderer. I don't want you to be hooked up on drugs that you all out of your mind. We can't be able to pull all those gifts out of you. I want to help pull your gifts out of you so that you can make this world what it ought to be. We need you to make this world what it ought to be. That's my commitment to the people of Dallas County.
Ms. Johnson, no. And that is perfectly fine, and that is something that's genuine that the people want to see. And with the passion that you exude brings me to my next question is, you're dealing with a multitude of cases, and a lot of those have been high profile cases. And we know that mental health and mental awareness in the Black community is something that we deal with every day. How do you handle your mental state of going home with these type of cases that you come into?
Baby, I love the Lord. I love him. I trust him. I start my day with prayer and meditation and in the word of God. And then I have all kinds of prayer groups. I got people praying, lifting me up. I got a Tuesday morning prayer group, a Wednesday, a Thursday. We pray every noon. So it's prayer. I'm telling you, people. And I don't apologize for being a child of the King. I'm a daughter of the King, people. That's who I am. And I tell you, I got covenant with my God. And I trust him in everything I do. I trust him in this race. He's my strategist. He's my head strategist for this campaign. And I say to God, I just want to walk righteously before you. It's not about the naysayer or the this or the that. Or folks say, hey, do this make you look good. Or do that make you look good. I said, God, I just want to walk righteously before you. I'm committed to you. I trust you and all that I do. So that's how I sustain myself mentally, emotionally, psychologically, is my relationship with the Lord, going to church, going to Bible study, doing my own personal prayer time, and being able to relax. I don't relax as much as I need to. I need to do more spa days. I got a commitment to go to the spa more, but just to be able to have that time to myself. Because I'm a workaholic, just like my daddy, baby. I sometimes work 16 hours a day, just like he worked. But it's all about being able to be there for the people. I want folks to know that I could easily just sit at home and not run this race. But I'm running this race for the people of Dallas County. I'm running it for you people. I'm running it for our young people. I'm running it for our old people. I'm running it for our seniors and our business owners and our people who need. I'm running for you all. Otherwise, I can stay at home and look at Forrest Gump every evening if I had to. That's what I'll do, look at Forrest Gump or do something else. But I'm out here on this battlefield, people, because a change got to come. See, Dallas County got a moment. We got a moment in time where destiny is hanging in the balances there. We just got a moment, people. And this is our hour. This is our moment. And that's why I'm encouraging people. We got to get on this bandwagon. You got to get behind Faith Johnson because it's all for the good and the betterment of every single person who lives in Dallas County, Texas.
And Miss Johnson, I'm sorry, Des, I know you probably have one. I did want to ask something. This is a topic that is heavily discussed, I think, in today's generation, right? Are you Democrat, Republican, liberal, whatever have you? And there's a lot of stigma, what we see probably in our community, as far as being Black or African American and a Republican, especially in the post-Trump era. And tensions are high and there's a lot of back and forth. How do you handle that? What would you say to the people that might wonder or question, which way you went as far as your political party?
I say to people, Trump ain't got nothing to do with my race. Absolutely nothing. Trump doesn't have anything to do with my commitment to what I want to do for the people of Dallas County. Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm a Republican. I mean, when you either run as a Republican, Democrat, Independent. Way back then, when I looked at the Republican platform, and I know it's gone through revisions since I started, and I loved what I saw in that platform. What people don't understand, the Republican Party was a party that helped freed us. I mean, they don't even know the history of the Republican Party. And they don't know George Wallace was a Democrat, and so when people get wrapped up into the parties, they lose sight of, let's look at the person in terms of what that person is going to bring to Dallas County and bring to me. And that's what people need to look at. Now, do I agree with everything on the platform in the Republican Party? No, I don't always agree with everything. And I bet you Democrats don't always agree with some of the things that's in the Democrat platform, especially if you're a Christian. And when you look at the Democrat platform and a lot of the stuff that they put in there, a lot of Christians won't agree with that. But my commitment is that that's a part of that. That's part of my family. It's almost like I got a lot of crazy people in my family, but guess what? They still my family and I love them. And although they do stuff I don't like, I don't agree with, and I don't do what they do, I try to give them an example as a person and my beliefs and in my heart. That's what I do with my family. That's the same thing I do in the Republican Party. You can't change inside the Republican. You can't change what's going on the inside of the Republican Party if you're on the outside. So whatever impact I'm going to make, I need to make it from the inside. So, but the key is, this is Faith Johnson. I say to people, the most important thing to me is making certain that I'm doing what's right before God, that I'm living a righteous life and I'm obeying the law and executing the law fairly, justly on behalf of the people of Dallas County and leaving no one out. That's my commitment. I'm committed to making certain I don't leave anybody out. So that's why it doesn't matter. We don't have straight party voting anyway. So y'all just look for my name, look for Faith Johnson and vote for me. That's what I want you to do. In fact, it's interesting. If you went back and saw the polls and the voting for 2018, if we just simply got rid of straight party voting, both Democrats and Republicans, more people chose Faith Johnson then chose my opponent back in 2018. I would have won if we had just simply gotten rid of all those people who just clicked straight and they just went to my name or went to his name. I got more votes. So obviously people, even back then, knew who I was and what I represented and was satisfied with the work I did. That's why the Dallas Morning News, when they endorsed me back in 2018, they said I was an exceptional leader. Now, they could have just simply said, oh, she's a good leader. But you know what they said? They said I was exceptional. No, exceptional. They look, I mean, I had less than 2 years to show to them how exceptional I was. Can you imagine the job I'm going to do for Dallas County when I go back January 1, 2023? If I was exceptional all the way back then, can you imagine what's built up in me now in terms of all the stuff I want to continue and new stuff I want to bring to the end to make certain that your life will be fulfilled, that you will be safe and secure, and you get to be who you are in a safe environment in Dallas County. Can you imagine what Faith Johnson is going to do for the people of Dallas County when she takes office January 2023? It will blow your mind, people. It will blow your mind. I already got a track record that tells you that I will be awesome, exceptional for Dallas County.
That is amazing. And your passion for the people is just so inspiring to see and hear. And so we want to ask you one last question before we let you go, because we definitely appreciate your time, but we know you're a busy woman. Yeah. As someone like myself, as I stated earlier, I'm 33 years old and never got into politics until I got older in age and realized that these decisions that are made by policyholders and policymakers and policy enforcers, they directly affect me in some way. And so the whole purpose of our conversation today was to give people like myself a kind of glimpse into what politics is and how it affects us, and to be able to allow them to build a relationship with you as a candidate for the district attorney. And so I want to know, what can you say to someone that's watching today that has never been interested in politics, has no desire to vote? What can you say to them to inspire them to get out there and vote?
I think it's so critical to just feel. I mean, if you can't see it, kind of feel what's going on in the atmosphere in this country. It's almost like everybody got to get involved now. Yeah. Everybody's impacted. Yes. On one level or another. It's almost like you can no longer afford not to be involved, right? Not to be concerned, not to jump in there. Learn who these people are. And it's not about just what they say, because people say a lot of things. When you look at my opponent, he said a lot of stuff. He's been a Democrat, he's been a Republican, then he's been back Democrat. It's almost like he says that he does whatever he says to do just to be able to get elected or to appease the people. And what I say to folks, try to find people who are authentic, people who are real. Try to pull out, are they really true servant? And that's what you want, a true servant. Mm-hmm. Somebody who's true to the calling. See, that's why this is a calling for me, people. I left a job making more money than I'm going to make being your DA. If it was all about money. Right. And obviously it ain't about prestige and having some accolades for me, because I've done it. I've had all kinds of accolades. I've been all kinds of first this and first that. So it ain't that for me, people. It's going all the way back. And that's how you know the present and the future based on the past. Back there when I was 16 years old, I told my mama what I wanted. Before I became a Faith Johnson, Honorable Faith Johnson, DA or judge, I never know what I was going to become. But all the way back then, it's a test of who I was. When I said to my mama, Mama, I want 100 friends because I want to be able to do this for them and that for them and this. What little kid was looking for accolades at the age of 16, 17?
Faith Johnson.
Right. I mean, I wasn't looking for accolades. I was just looking for what I wanted to do. I mean, I wasn't looking at trying to be no miss this and miss that. I was just looking for, hey, mama, I just want to do this for you and that for you. Yeah. That's a true test of who I am, people. That's my history. And I built from that history since age 16 and 17. I built from it. All the things I've done, it's always been about doing this for you and doing that for you and doing this. And I want to continue to do this and to do that, to make your life worthwhile living. That's what the bottom line is, that you got a life that's worth living, that you leave your mark. You become whatever that gift is inside of you. I want to help bring it out. Bring out what you meant to be and meant to do, your true purpose. That's what I want to help you do. So I don't want you to go in there and steal up to $750 and say it's okay. No, I don't want that on your record. Or you can feel like that's all you can be is a thief. No, you're more than a thief. You're more than that. And that's what my commitment is, to bring out who you really are in this criminal justice system. Faith Johnson, your next Dallas County District Attorney.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us today, Ms. Johnson. We truly, truly appreciate you for taking the time out and just, having this conversation with us. I feel like it's necessary. And a lot of our people that are watching today, hopefully they were inspired to get out there and vote because your vote matters. And I know that a lot of people believe that it doesn't, but it definitely does. And hopefully today somebody's watching this and it is inspired to go out there and be part of making the change that this world, not only Dallas County, but this world truly needs. And thank you so much again. And before we let you go, just remind the people where they can find information on where to vote, how to vote, and where they can donate to your campaign if they're interested.
Yes, please go to my website, www.faithjohnsonforda.com. You can give, you can volunteer, you can sign up, endorse me, have a meet and greet, block walk, because we need all of that. We're not taking anything for granted. I will go anywhere, be any place. So go on my website where you can sign up. We'll also, because they're still working through voting sites and that sort of thing, but eventually we'll have the voting sites up there. If you're not registered to vote, go register to vote. You can go online and find out about that. Just if you're in Dallas County, just pull up Dallas County Election Department. It'll give you some direction in terms of where you can go and vote and give you all that information. But get registered and vote and get registered. And once you register, you vote and you get another 10 people and take them to the poll and vote for Faith Johnson. That's my encouragement to you.
Thank you so much once again for joining us. We appreciate your time and we appreciate you for just being who you are and the passion that you exude in front of us today and in front of the people watching. So thank you once again. And before we go, guys, you know how we do. Make sure that you check out our website, mouthful-tv.com, where you can find out and keep up with all the happenings with Mouthful TV. We are preparing for another great season, bringing you guys so much content, so much information, so many resources to kind of help you guys through this life. There's so much going on in the world, and we definitely want to be able to be a part of making a change and making a difference. And this is one of our efforts to do so. Make sure that you check us out on all of our social medias, Instagram, Mouthful_TV. Our Facebook is Mouthful Talk Show, and our Twitter, Mouthful_TV. So make sure you guys check us out. And until next time, peace and much love to every one of you.
Love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.